Hey, what's going on, everyone? Axel here. So today I want to talk about Smash 5 and the big announcement we got yesterday. And I know that you all who watch my videos, the few of you that do, I typically talk about tier lists and characters, but I have a lot of things to say, not just about Smash 5, but about characters, and that's why there's characters listed here on the tier list maker that are posted here, because there's specific characters I want to talk about. I want to get into characters I think are going to join the roster, and some I think might be in jeopardy of leaving, and then just other characters that I have a few interesting things to say. So this video is going to be about Smash 5 first, and then about characters we might see or may not see, or changes we might see to characters. And sorry guys, I don't have any gameplay to put on here or anything more entertaining to watch, but I will throw up video, or not videos, but pictures of different characters I'll talk about, like specifically the newcomers I think we might see. So hopefully that'll give you something to look at, but if not, you can just listen, that's totally fine. But anyways, let's talk about Smash 5 being a port or not being a port, if it's a new game or not a new game, and I've seen a lot of different people with different theories on this. Some people think it's going to be a completely new game. Some people think it's going to be a straight port. And I'm kind of weirded out. Well, not weirded out, but I'm kind of curious as to why people think it's going to be a new game. And I've seen the arguments with the details that are posted, like the developers that are making it and such. But the thing is, I don't think it's going to be a brand new game because it doesn't make business sense for them to do that. What I'm sure we'll see is a port of Smash 4 with upgrades. Now they might call it Smash 5, they might call it a new game, but it's going to be a glorified port. It's going to be, it might be like, it'll be like Splatoon 2 where they recycle like 80-90% of the assets, add a few new things, and then call it a new game. But it's not really a new game because it's mostly Smash 4. It's mostly the previous game just recycled. It's just the labeling of it. So whether you want to call it a new game or a port, we're going to get Smash 4 with new characters. So I don't think we're going to get a brand new game with a brand new engine, completely revamped, everything done from scratch, because one, like I said, it makes no business sense for them to do that. From Nintendo's standpoint, they're going to sell just as much, just about as much if they do a port, and that's way cheaper for them to do. It's way more profitable. They don't have to put all that time into development of the game. And plus, considering Smash 4 just is in the development, what, like 2 years ago? That's with that last Bayonetta nerf patch was where it officially ended. That's not been that much time, so I'd be really surprised if it's a new Smash. Plus, Smash has not gotten, the Switch obviously isn't a big graphical upgrade over the Wii U, so there's not really a lot of extra hard power for them to work with to put new things to the game or to make characters look better or perform better. So I really don't think it's going to be like a brand new game that looks different and is different mechanically, different technically. It's going to be Smash 4 port with some changes. And I know with the hardware argument there, you might think that, oh, the Wii wasn't a big upgrade from the GameCube, so why was a Brawl remade? Well, this is a different situation. It's a lot more common these days for things to be ported and upgraded. And considering the Wii U was a flop way more so than the GameCube was, and the GameCube was also a flop, I think it makes just way too much sense here, especially since they've done this with other games on the Switch, and it's been working great and selling a lot. So I think it's going to be a port. It's going to be 90% the same game, except they're going to make some changes with new characters, and they might take some characters away. I'm sure we'll see new stages. And hopefully we see a big new mode. Hopefully like a big single player mode, like a single player story mode would be amazing. I think that's the most likely thing we'll see. So, all right, with that out of the way, let's get to the fun, juicy part that I really wanted to talk about, which is new characters. So characters we might see and ones we may see going away. Ones we may see changes to. So as you can see here, I have some characters I want to talk about, but first I want to talk about newcomers. Possible newcomers. First one that we saw revealed yesterday was the Inklings, and duh, like this was so obvious. Like I could have told you, like I would have bet like all the money I own that they were going to be introduced into the next Smash. It was no, I wouldn't really do that, but it was really obvious that Inklings were going to be introduced into the next Smash. They're obviously going to be a newcomer because Splatoon, if you're not aware, is gigantic in Japan, still gigantic in the US and the Western market, but it's huge. It's Nintendo's big, huge new hit. There's no way they weren't going to throw characters from Splatoon into Smash. That was obvious. So we did see Inkling Boy, Inkling Girl revealed yesterday, and the question now is, are they going to be the same character but different skins, kind of like a Dark Pit kind of deal, or like a Corrin deal where there's male Corrin and female Corrin? Is it going to be like that, or is it going to be two separate characters, kind of like Marth and Lucina? And I'm sorry, actually, Dark Pit and Pit are actually different characters, but you know what I mean. I meant to say like I meant to say like a Corrin situation or a Wii Fit situation where it's like male and female versions of the characters. But anyways, sorry, I wasn't very clear on that. But I think it's probably more likely to be one character, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it was two different characters, just because Splatoon is so big right now, and Nintendo, at least in the last game, really liked to make clones. Like we saw so many clones last with Smash 4, like Marth, Lucina, Mario, Dr. Mario, Pit, Dark Pit. So I wouldn't be too surprised if that happens. But I put my money on one character, and obviously Inkling is going to be a zoning character. I just hope Inkling's not top tier, because that's going to be annoying as shit. So yeah, I hope, but we'll see. Inkling will probably be like most zoners tend to be, like a low high tier, high mid tier type character, but we'll see. Probably not enough to really say what their moveset is going to be. I would assume they'll probably have the Splatoon bomb, and maybe a few different variations of the Splatoon guns as their different moveset, but I'm not too sure. I don't play Splatoon hardly at all, so it's hard for me to give any more thoughts on that. So let's talk about probably the next big question, which is Ice Climbers. And Ice Climbers, I think, is going to be back. If you all aren't aware, Ice Climbers were only cut from Smash 4 because the 3DS could not handle that many characters being on screen at one time in the bigger modes. So the mass multiplayer modes, it really put a tax on the 3DS system, and it couldn't handle it. But that won't be a problem now with the Switch, because the Switch hardware-wise is stronger than the Wii U, and the Wii U obviously could easily handle Ice Climbers as easily in 8-player mode, no problem. So it really was just as far as I've heard, but it's not going to be a problem on the Switch either way. So I think we'll definitely see the Ice Climbers come back. They're a traditional character. They are in Melee, or a big hit in Melee, even though the Ice Climbers hasn't been a relevant franchise since like the NES, basically. I still think they're too traditional to come back, and they know the fans want it, so I think we'll see Ice Climbers come back. And while we're on the subject of Ice Climbers, I want to talk about one of the characters up here, which is Rosalina. Let's talk about Rosalina, because I think she ties into Ice Climbers, and she's one of the new characters. I wouldn't be too surprised if she doesn't come back. Now, I think she will come back, but I do think there's a shot she won't, because you have to think about why Rosalina was created in the first place. Rosalina was created because Ice Climbers could not fit into the game. Rosalina was basically a version of Ice Climbers that they could get to work on the system. So because they couldn't include Ice Climbers, they created Rosalina out of that. Rosalina is a puppet. They wanted a puppet character in the game, but they wanted a puppet character that could actually function on the 3DS hardware, and that's why they made Rosalina the way they made her, with Luma, her puppet character, being attached to her, not working with AI, not being a separate character, being coded as a part of Rosalina, and that was a way to get a puppet character in the game in a way the 3DS could handle it. So if the Ice Climbers do come back, Rosalina may not be needed anymore. And some people might say, oh, but we need a Mario Galaxy character. She's from Mario Galaxy. That was a big franchise for Nintendo. How would you say she's not going to be back? Well, we do have a Mario Galaxy character, and his name is Mario. So I don't see much validity to that argument. So I think Rosalina is one of the characters in jeopardy of not coming back, although I still think of all the characters I'm going to talk about, she's probably the most likely to actually come back. But I do think we might see her dropped if they make roster changes. Okay, let's get to more characters that newcomer possibilities. Let's talk about some of the Donkey Kong Country characters. So Funky Kong, King K. Rool, Dixie Kong, Cranky Kong. Some people mentioned Funky Kong because Tropical Freeze is being re-released for the Switch, and it's going to have a new mode, a Funky Kong mode. You can play basically an easy mode where you can play as Funky Kong, and he has special powers. It's basically going to make the game easier, but he's not. I don't think he's relevant enough as a character. I think it's far more likely we get a character like Dixie Kong. But I tend to think that none of them are going to make it in, just because they didn't make it in the Wii U version, and there hasn't been any new Donkey Kong game since then, so I see no further reason for them to get in now. You might say, oh, but Tropical Freeze is coming. Well, Tropical Freeze was also on the Wii U and they didn't put her in, so I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we'll see any of them. And I know some like King K. Rool were highly requested, but King K. Rool has not been relevant for quite a while in the series. The new villains in Tropical Freeze were not even the Kremlings. They were like seal things. They weren't a really good game, by the way. If you haven't played it, definitely play it. I loved that game. And ended up beating it. But no, I don't. But so King K. Rool wasn't even in the last one. I don't think it's going to happen. So let's move to the next one, Crash Bandicoot. Now, I love the Crash games. I'm not being biased here. I really do think that there's a good chance for Crash to come into the game. The company that makes Crash is working with Nintendo. If you're not aware, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is going to be released on the Switch. That was also announced in the Direct, and I would not be surprised at all if Crash comes out. And if you all who are younger don't realize this, Crash was a huge character back in the PS1 days. He was huge, and he's a long legacy character. Amazing games. He has really cool ideas for a moveset. He could do, there's slides. He got his little spinny hand attack thing that he can do. He's a really cool comedy character. I hope he makes it in. I think there's a pretty decent shot. I lean on the side of no with him, but I think there's a decent shot. Although if I had to bet, I would say no. Next is Banjo-Kazooie, and I've heard Nintendo likes this character, but I just don't see it happening just because Microsoft owns the rights to Banjo-Kazooie, and just I don't think they want to work with Nintendo on that. I just don't see that happening. He hasn't made it in any of the prior Smash games, so I don't see why he would now. There hasn't been a new Banjo-Kazooie in what long time. Even though he's a legacy character, even though Microsoft is now working with Nintendo a little bit on cross-play, like on the Switch. Like I think you can play games like Rocket League online on if you're on the Switch, you can play Xbox One users, I think. And I think there's a few other games where they're working on Nintendo on, but I still don't think it's going to happen. Okay, next is Rayman. I don't think so. Rayman is just he's not big enough of a character. Like, he is a good character and he does have somewhat of a legacy, but he's never been like a top seller, especially in recent years. So Rayman Legends was a pretty good game. Rayman Origins was a fun game, but I don't think he's big enough to be in Smash over some of these other characters. Not to say he's not an important, cool character, but I just don't see it. Okay, next is Geno. Geno is the character from Super Mario RPG, and from I'm aware, Nintendo couldn't get the. Well, actually, never mind. Nintendo did get some licensing to him, apparently, because they did release a Geno Mii costume. But they know at least it's highly requested by fans. I really liked Super Mario RPG, one of my favorite games growing up, and I would love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, next is Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight, is Shovel Knight going to make it in? I tend to think not, because even though Shovel Knight's cool, it was kind of a fad there in like, what, 14 and 15. It's still an indie game. It's still not like a huge legacy franchise. It's still not even big currently. I just don't. I don't think so. Just it's an indie title. I think you need to be a little bit bigger than that to be in the Smash game. Okay, next is like ARMS characters like Min Min, for example. I don't think they're going to put someone in from ARMS because ARMS just wasn't that big of a hit on the Switch. It really wasn't a hit on the Switch at all. So, the reason putting Splatoon is because Splatoon's a hit. ARMS really isn't. It's probably going to be a game that I don't even know if we'll see another sequel to in the future. I think it was kind of an experiment with Nintendo, an easy game for them to pump out because, well, I haven't played it. It sure looks like a kind of like a fancier version of Wii Sports Boxing, essentially. So I think I don't think it's going to happen. All right. So now let's get on to talking about the characters I have on the screen here. I'm going to talk about current Smash 4 characters that may or may not come back. Some I have interesting things to say. So first one is Bayonetta, the character nobody wants to come back, but is definitely 100% coming back. I would bet a lot of money that she's coming back. The reason is because Bayonetta is essentially a Nintendo IP now, and it's a very high regarded franchise. It's a mature franchise. Nintendo doesn't have a lot of those, and while Nintendo does not own the IP, Bayonetta 2 was exclusive to the Switch. Bayonetta 3 is going to be exclusive to, I'm sorry, Bayonetta 2 is exclusive to Wii U when it was released and up until recently. Bayonetta 3 is going to be exclusive on the Switch. Nintendo essentially owns the IP at this point because they are funding the company making these games. Very easy for them to get licensing to this character. There's no reason she's not going to be in. She's really popular franchise right now, really well-renowned franchise. Definitely going to be in the game. Hopefully they just, please, Nintendo, balance this character, please. All right, because she's so stupid right now. Anyways, okay, let's talk about Link. Okay, Link and Zelda. I think because we saw in the, if you haven't seen the reveal yesterday, they did show off Link being in Breath of the Wild, having Breath of the Wild look to him. I think we're obviously going to see that, so that's been confirmed. The only question is like the Inklings, is this going to be just a cosmetic thing, or are we going to see a new character? We're going to have Link, Toon Link, and Breath of the Wild Link. I don't think so. I think we're going to see him be a skin for Link. And I think just like we're going to see, I think Zelda, the same thing. We're going to see Breath of the Wild Zelda be a skin for Zelda. And I think if you looked in the silhouette, it sure looked on the right there of the silhouette in one spot that that character looked a lot like Breath of the Wild Zelda with the long hair, kind of poofed out a little bit. Or not poofed out, she has straight hair, but you could it kind of looked like Breath of the Wild Zelda. So I do think they're just going to be skins. 3 Links being in Smash would just be way overkill. All right, let's talk about Wii Fit Trainer, because I think she has a pretty good shot of not making it into this next Smash coming up. I think she might get dropped. Why do I think that? Well, because of her name. Her name is Wii Fit Trainer, and if you aren't aware, Nintendo is doing everything they can to bury the Wii name because the Wii U was such a flop. Even though Wii Fit was started as a original Wii character, she still has that Wii name, and I don't think Nintendo wants to carry that Wii name onto the Switch. I think they want to bury it. Now, they could rename her like Nintendo Trainer, but I haven't seen any kind of upcoming mention of any kind of fit game or, Wii exercise, not Wii exercise, but just a Nintendo exercise type game on the Switch, even one rumored or talked about. So I'm not sure if she's going to make it. She might be a character that comes in later as DLC, maybe, but I think she has a somewhat decent shot, pretty decent shot of not making it, just because, again, Nintendo wants everyone to buy a Switch. They don't want the consumer, the mass market consumer, to remember even that the Wii moniker existed. They want to wipe away all the stains of the Wii U because it was a big flop. They want everyone thinking Switch. They don't want something in their game that's going to remind people of that system. I think there's a decent shot she's gone, but we'll see what happens. Okay, Toon Link, I didn't mean to put him here, actually. I think I wanted to talk about, Toon Link's going to be, Toon Link's going to definitely, I don't know why I put him here, but Toon Link's definitely going to be back, I think. Even, I guess he could go away because Wind Waker, it's been a long time since Wind Waker at this point, but he's still, I think he's been in Melee really since Young Link. I mean, technically Toon Link wasn't Young Link, but we all know Young Link is basically Toon Link. So I think he'll stay because he's Legacy. But all right, Mega Man. Mega Man, I think, is going to stay for sure because Mega Man 9 is coming out on the Switch. It's obviously going to be easy for Nintendo to get the rights to him again. It's going to happen. He's going to be in there for sure. Ryu, I don't know. Ryu's a toss-up because I don't know if Street Fighter is going to want to license him again. Granted, Capcom, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Capcom also owns Mega Man and Ryu. But Ryu is the main guy of their franchise, and I don't know, because Nintendo's is a lot more bigger of a competition now for their franchise with the Switch than they were with the Wii U, and they may not want their leading character also in their competitor's game. So it's a toss-up, but I wouldn't be too surprised if he's gone, but I think he'll still sneak in. Okay, Corrin. Corrin, I think there's a good chance she doesn't make it back in because we all know what Corrin was in Smash 4. Corrin was an advertisement. She was an advertisement for the upcoming Fire Emblem game, and that was her purpose. And now that she's no longer needed for that purpose, I don't really see a reason for her to be in the game, especially with so many other Fire Emblem characters in the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't make it. All right, let's talk about Cloud. So Cloud, he's the protagonist of Final Fantasy VII, one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite game of all time. And I think that he will not make it back in. Because think about it, there's no reason for them to put him back into the game. Why was he put in there in Smash 4 in the first place? He was put in Smash 4 in the first place to create hype. You have to remember that time when he was announced, the Final Fantasy VII remake was announced. It was talked about. Everyone was thinking about it. We thought at the time that Final Fantasy VII Remake would actually be out in a few years, like 2-3 years or something. And it's clear that Final Fantasy VII Remake is not anywhere on the horizon. It's not even close. It's probably going to be a next generation game, if like 2020, at the earliest, maybe 2021, 2022. It's not even close. So you've got two factors there. One, the Final Fantasy game isn't even close, the remake, and two, the hype isn't going to be there for him to return, because it was a huge shocker when he was introduced to begin with. But at this point, that no one's going to get as hyped if he comes back. There's a lot more unknown characters that are going to drive way more hype than him. He's a great character. I love the character. Not in Smash. I think he's annoying as shit in Smash. But in Final Fantasy VII, I love the character. But I don't think he's going to return, just because there's so many other options they could pull out of their hat to create more hype. It's not that Cloud isn't hype. It's just that the hype isn't going to be there because the hype was already farmed, I guess you could say, for Smash 4. So to see him return isn't going to be near as hype as to see him come out of nowhere like he did in Smash 4. So I think there's a good chance he's not going to be there. Okay, last, let's talk about the Mii fighters, because I should have talked about them when I talked about Wii Fit, but sort of just like Wii Fit, they're gone. I think Wii Fit might come back, but I don't think the Mii fighters are going to come back at all. Not a chance. I think they're all gone for sure, because again, they were what is a Mii? A Mii was an avatar for the Wii U and the Wii systems. So because they don't even have that purpose anymore, why would they be there? They're not legacy enough. Nintendo doesn't want to constantly remind people of their past system, which was a failure. So they're probably not going to come back again for the same reasons as Wii Fit, but even more so because they were kind of put in there as customs characters, and they weren't. They don't. We'll see if they bring back that feature for Smash 5, but I don't think they're going to want to use the Mii names again. I wouldn't be surprised if that custom feature goes away entirely, because I think for them, customs was just kind of a balancing mess, and I don't think it was the hit that they were looking for. So wouldn't be surprised to see the Mii fighters not come back. Okay, well, that's about all I have to say. I was going to go into stages, but I don't really have enough to say at this point about stages, but hopefully we get something like, say, like Yoshi's would be amazing. As far as game modes, I really hope the online mode has just better tournament mode. Give us a ranking system. Let us enter tournaments online that actually rank people by skill. Give us a normal move set. Like, come on, like, don't make it in tournament mode. Don't make it 3 minutes. Most damage wins at a timeout. That's so stupid. Make it, make it best of 1, 2 stock with a 5-minute timer like normal. At least a 5-minute 6 would be better, but at least a 5-minute timer. Please don't, for glory, let us play on stages more than FD. I hate that. Let us play. Give us a random selection. It would be perfect if on For Glory they give us a random selection of, say, I'm not expecting all legal stages in tournament play, but give us a random selection of at least of like Smashville, FD, and Battlefield. That would be great. Every time you play a For Glory match, it puts you randomly on one of those stages, because I hate playing on For Glory and only being able to play on flat stages, because it gives certain characters advantages over others. It doesn't let you practice on platform stages. Platforms are a key feature of Smash that differentiates itself from every other type of Smash, so hopefully we see that. As far as game modes, I already mentioned adventure mode. I hope they put that single player mode in. That would be amazing. Guys, why don't you comment below, let me know if any thoughts you have on my video, anything you disagree with or think I've said that's really stupid, or just any ideas or anything. I'll try to respond best I can. And hey, maybe if a bunch of people watch this, maybe I'll make some more videos. If not, but for now, this is just kind of a fun side channel for me. It's not my main YouTube channel, but it's something I like to do if people want to hear me talk about this stuff and find it interesting. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. Take care.